David Kilgour is the Vice President of the Parliamentary Forum of the Community of Democracies, a co-founder of the Canadian Friends of a Democratic Iran. He's a former 7-term parliamentarian from Canada, a former Secretary of State for Asia Pacific and Secretary of State for Latin America and Africa. David's human rights work is truly outstanding. He was recently nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for his work on Falun Gong issues. We're very happy to have him here. Mr. David Kilgour.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do you a favor. I almost lost my voice down there, so you're going to get a short speech. If anybody wants the whole text, I think I have some copies, and I'm happy to give you the full text. Ahmadinejad has told Iranians that Israel's existence is contrary to the dignity of all nations. What, however, is the condition of dignity across Iran? In mid-March, the UN Human Rights Council voted for the first time to appoint a special investigator to monitor Iran's rights record. The resolution, co-sponsored by governments from every region of the world, passed 22-7. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's report expressed serious concern about Tehran's record. Quote, increased executions, amputations, arbitrary arrest and detention, unfair trials, and possible torture. I don't think there's any doubt about possible torture. And ill treatment of human rights activists, lawyers, journalists, and opposition activists. Ban deplored the persecution of Iranian minorities, including Arabs, Armenians, Azeris, Baluch, Christians, Jews, Kurds, and Baha'is. You probably all know that under Iran's present constitution, key members of the government, parliament, the judiciary, and military must be Shiites, leaving everybody else as inferior and facing harsh treatment whenever they practice their faith. Kurds, for example, are barred from teaching in the Kurdish language in regional schools. Sunnis must not build mosques in Tehran. Paul Salem, director of the Middle East Carnegie Endowment for Peace, observed about events in the Middle East from North Africa, quote, there are now new revolutions and heroes to look up to. Iran is passé. Iranian officials, as well as leaders of Iran-backed Hezbollah, have taken a selective approach to the uprisings, cheering the movements in Egypt and elsewhere as an Islamic awakening, while rebuking unrest in Syria as a plot by Israel and the West. An opinion piece in the Anatolia Daily, that's in Turkey, I'm happy to tell you, by Nir Bombs and Shayan Arya, noted that Ahmadinejad demanded UN intervention for the UK riots, but not for the tragedy unfolding across Syria. They added, and I think this is very important, quote, Turkey informed the UN Security Council panel that it seized a second cache of weapons that Iran was attempting to deliver to Syria in breach of the UN arms embargo. Today there are over 2,000 political prisoners in jail in Iran, and the crackdown continues. Since most are activists tracking human rights violations, it's very difficult tracking all the prisoners. Nevertheless, one human rights coalition, Iran All Rights Reserved, the sponsor of the event today, if I may say, produced a list of nearly 650 prisoners sitting in jail while Ahmadinejad goes to give lessons to the UN. I have a section here on, which I feel I should give, on institutionalized misogyny. In 2010, Amnesty International observed, quote, Iran discriminates against women from top to bottom. Women are absent in any of the senior decision-making posts, close quote. Neda Aga Sultan became a symbol, as you all know, of Iran's long history, culture, and principled people. Her murder by a malicious sniper in a Tehran traffic jam in June 2009 still haunts the world. I'm going to shorten it a bit here. Oh, one thing I'd like to mention about Ahmadinejad's record. Please try to get hold of the Washington Post on June 18th, where he poses a number of questions that the writer, Karam Sajapur, poses a number of questions that he'd like Ahmadinejad to be asked here in New York, but no doubt will not be asked. Quote, he gives a sample. One, quote, the anti-government protests in Iran on June 15, 2009 were significantly larger than any in the Middle East this year, yet you referred to the protesters as dust and dirt, quote, Ahmadinejad. Do you regret using that term? He's got some absolutely wonderful questions. I will skip the nuclear weapons part of my talk, which, not that it isn't terribly important, but I think I've spoken long enough. I've got a section on sanctions, which I'm happy to share with anybody who wants them. I'll just come to the conclusion. The responsible international community should call for the creation of a special tribunal by the Security Council to deal with atrocities by Iran officials. I think I'm stopping at the right time, Chris. The request has already been sent to the 190 member countries of the International Bar Association. I'll go to the, finally. In short, all of us must stand in robust solidarity with the struggle for human dignity everywhere across Iran. Iranians want democracy, with probably the largest street demonstrations in the region. They, in fact, initiated in the millions the democratic revolution in the Middle East in June of 2009. Thank you very much.